Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Aragon. So we've had a few updates. The devs have just announced a new lockbox. They've made a preview fix to the Enchanted Cauldron so it may finally work. A new change to the Divine Aegis. A fix to the Night Flame sensor. And I've gone and tested a bunch of companions, including the new Crystal Golem from the Jubilee event. And a load of these other companions, particularly the support ones, to rank them versus each other in terms of which deal the most damage, which should you be using to min-max at endgame. So we start by having a look at the new lockbox, and we can see it has this new Panther mount. Looks pretty cool, and it has the combat power Phantasmic Wake. It will leave a bunch of pools on the ground, they will deal instantaneous damage and then some damage over time. Nothing spectacular, additionally slowing the enemies. However, the best benefit is it makes those enemies take 16% more damage and have 15% reduced critical strike. This 16% increased incoming damage puts it in line with the glorious Undead Lion, as yes, one of the best to use for team support. So you will use it during artifact calls. And it reminds me very similar to the Bestial Fire Archon, which also leaves pools on the ground. In terms of the critical strike reduction, that's kind of meaningless. You're better off with one that directly reduces the outgoing damage of your target, like the Swarm, which even then also has the effect to reduce the critical chance. But still, very good combat power and competitive with it being a 16% debuff. As for the equip bonus, kind of use this with just awareness and accuracy. A mix of defense and offensive stats is usually no good for anybody. But then we have a look at the new companion. This is coming at mythic, unfortunately, which means you'll still have to upgrade it to celestial. But it has some active powers here, like giving a shield to the summoner and having a bit of stat shred of the enemies, reducing the enemy's accuracy and awareness. Unfortunately though, it's 0.05%. So at max stacks, that's 0.25%, which is a meaningless amount of damage gain. This should honestly be minus 5% awareness, and then it's still only just over 2%, which just about makes it competitive with some of these other support companions. Otherwise, it has a bit of a life leech effect, dealing damage in an explosion, gaining some threat, and healing for each target hit. Then it just has Precision Breaker, reducing the enemy's critical strike, and a defense power which actually looks good. Whenever you're hit by a critical strike, you have a 70% chance to deal 100 magnitude damage around you and drain the defense of every enemy hit by 3.75%. I assume this is going to go to 4.5% like when it's on Celestial, because these would have 900 combined rating and this is only stated to have 750 here. And this has a 10-second duration and a 5-second cooldown, meaning you can have 100% uptime on this. A 4.5% reduction in defense is over a 3% damage gain, even more when you stack additional defense bonuses. So overall it looks like a decent lockbox with a companion bonus that you can use on tanks and a mount combat power that's very good for supports. But now we'll have a look at the Hag's Cauldron. Have they gone and actually fixed this properly? Well, when I went and actually tested it, you can see that you gain a 0.8% increase in power. This made my base at 35,825 go to 36,000. And then with the effect of the mount power, we get up to 39,247. This ultimately checks out to be a correct defense reduction and critical avoidance reduction. So other than it giving for some reason 0.8% more power, it seems to work properly. However, I've seen reports that it deals 800 magnitude instead of 400, which is whatever. You're just going to use this as a support anyway. But keep in mind again, this has only been fixed on the preview server and they have still yet, I believe, to roll out this patch to the live server. They've also gone and changed your Night Flame sensor so that it will no longer stack with itself. Right now, everybody in the group can use it. So once that's fixed, you'll just want one of the following here. As for the Divine Aegis combat enchantment, they've simply changed it so now it gives 0.5% of max HP as a shield, stacking up 20 times. This means you will just gain 10% of your hit points as a shield when fully stacked. As a cleric healer, that's fairly easy with healing word, and this is probably the class you will make the most use of it. A 10% increase in hit points is not too bad, but it's quite a bit less than how they had it before, and it was also bugged before that it could say give you a full shield, so they had disabled it for quite some time so you weren't trivializing the new trial. Again, we'll have to wait for this fix to actually come to the live server, but be aware, even if that shield doesn't work, this combat enchantment is still the best thing when the outgoing healing stat boost works. That's 9%, which makes this simply the best to use on any healer. There's nothing better than it, but that is currently broken on the live server. Now finally we look at some updated companion tests. This doesn't include all of the ones that you would see here, over 200 in the module 30 section, but these rankings don't really change a whole lot. But I will be including this new companion when it's released, and we can now add the Crimson Crystal Golem. Unfortunately, his damage is nothing special, and he does have the ability to reduce the target's defense, but this unfortunately just doesn't work at all. You can check your damage when this is active and when it's not active, compare, and it will be exactly the same. It should last for 5 seconds and it should reduce the target's defense by some amount, but that's currently 0. He ultimately gets ranked right here as 16, but keep in mind again that misses all these other companions and he would probably be super low on the list, and I would not use him whatsoever. As for these other companions, I've mainly added the support ones, and these support ones are the best to use as a team right now. You can see 10 of the different ones here are going to give you a whole lot of damage boosts and damage stat boosts, and just be aware of the different ones that give the most amount of DPS, and these are the ones you would want ideally your damage dealers to use. If you're alone in solo content and don't need to worry about combat advantage, then sure, you could have a single target damage companion here that is highest on the list. For me in solo content, I would always take the Black Death Scorpion, which devs is currently broken in the trading room. I would highly appreciate if you've actually fixed it. It currently just keeps respawning. A bug that was in the Zariel trial for quite some time and now seems to have spilled over to here. This new lockbox will be coming on July the 17th, just this Thursday, replacing the old one, of which you can buy a bunch from the bazaar or the auction house while they're cheap before they're unavailable. On a last note, I would highly appreciate devs, if you're listening, to potentially release these lockboxes on the preview test server a little bit earlier than live so we can actually check out and showcase these things. And testing them will allow us to find bugs that you could maybe address from the get-go, or at least make the community aware of ahead of time before it's released. Additionally, making the companions come from the battle pass here available on the preview test server would be highly appreciated, so I can actually go and test the thing and see if it's any good. Right now I have no incentive of buying it without testing it first. But ultimately, thanks for watching, a special thank you to the support of my channel members, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.